Great. It looks like it's working. Hi, everyone. Welcome to House Rules. It is November 13th, 2025. On our agenda today, we will be hearing a proposal from Legislative Council around drafting deadlines. And then we'll have a conversation and possible vote on the resolution that reflects those changes. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bryn.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So Bryn Hare, Director and Chief Counsel of Legislative Council, here with a proposal to change some of the deadlines that are set forth in your House rules. The proposal includes three deadline changes. The first is a change to the House request deadline. The second is a change to the deadline for changes to drafts. And the third is the approve for introduction deadline. So I'm making this request for three reasons. So I'm hoping you'll humor me and give me a chance to talk about the reasons why I am putting this forward. The first is for quality control. The second is for management of the volume of requests that we receive. And the third is for member service. So I think that this proposal strikes the balance here that will impact the quality of the bill drafts we're able to produce for you all, while also maintaining your chamber's efficiency and your ability to introduce bills in time to make it to crossover. So my request is to move back first the House request deadline. Right now, under the current rule, the deadline for request for a bill is the first weekday of December. And so this proposal would shift that back to December 5th, a date certain. So that would provide a few more weekdays for members to request drafts from Legislative Council after the Thanksgiving holiday. I think that quite a few people are often traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday. And if we move that date, shift that date back, it won't, like for example, this year it falls on a Monday, so it's December 1st, which is a Monday, would be the request deadline. So this would shift it back a few days and give members, up to 5 more weekdays to request their drafts. So that is the first change that's proposed. The second is the shifting back the deadline for approval as to contents of a bill. Right now, that deadline is the Friday before the opening of session, which this year falls on January 2nd. So the proposal is to shift that date back by about 2 weeks to January 15th, a date certain. And the rationale here is this is going to provide legislative staff an additional 2 weeks to connect with members and finish their bill drafting. And it importantly provides that additional 2 weeks when the members are back in the building. So I think it will be much easier for staff to connect with members, much easier for members to connect with staff to get those drafts wrapped up if the deadline is shifted back to once you're already in session and back in the building. And the third amendment is to push back the deadline for approved for introduction. Currently in rule, that approved for introduction deadline is Wednesday in the second week of the session, which this year falls on January 14th. So it would be to push back that deadline to January 31st. So that gives the members about 2 weeks to find co-sponsors for their bills and officially get them signed off for introduction. So with that said, here is the rationale behind this request. So as you all know, the really sort of complex ideas that are presented by members require adequate time for legal analysis, careful drafting, ensuring technical accuracy. And historically, our attorneys and Leg Counsel have really struggled to reach members over the December holidays. And I'm certain, and God forbid, I imagine that sometimes happens in the reverse, that members have trouble reaching staff. So this year, as I mentioned, the deadline falls on January 2nd, which would require getting sign off from members really sort of on New Year's Eve, like right over the New Year's holiday. And there are consequences to that timing. If we're not able to reach members or, like I said, if God forbid members can't reach us, that really compromises legislative council's ability to draft in a way that meets members' intent. So that really is the sort of quality control piece. The second piece is about volume management. Our office typically in the last several biennia receive on average around 500 requests for bills in the second year of the biennium. And historically, about 30 to 37% of those requests are received just in the days prior to the deadline, the drafting request deadline. So that means that we're drafting more than a third of our bills in the 4 weeks prior to the beginning of session. And as you all know, that those 4 weeks include the winter holidays. And the winter holidays do tend to be a time when attorneys try to take some time off to be with their families. So pushing that second deadline, the approval as to contents, back to January 15th, like I said before, allows a little cushion of time for staff to meet with the members and finalize your drafts once you're all back in the building, and easier for us to trace down. And then lastly, the last piece is really just about member service. You all deserve the highest quality work product from our office, and your staff also deserve the time they need to create that high quality work. So the additional time is just going to allow attorneys a little bit more time to better understand members' intent and create bill drafts that reflect that intent. So it is my hope that this proposal strikes a balance in meeting the needs of the members and also meeting the needs of staff, and that it will really improve the quality of service and drafting that you receive from Legislative Council. And the last thing I would like to say, if you'll humor me for another minute, is just that the sort of most difficult, challenging time in the biennial cycle for staff is December and January of the second year of the biennium. And that, especially in January, is a challenge because, as you know, your committees really hit the ground running in January of the second year. So what that means for attorneys is that the attorneys tend to be booked in committee during the day, and that leaves really only the evening and the nighttime for them to both do draft amendments that the committees are proposing during the day, and also finish drafting the new bill requests. So one of my primary goals as the director is to reduce burnout and turnover among your attorney staff. This is Legislative Council is a very unique job with a unique skill set. And I think that the members are really best served by experienced attorneys, seasoned attorneys that have experience in the building, staffing their subject matter area. And every time we lose an attorney, we have to rebuild that experience in the subject matter area. So my goal and my hope is to strike this balance so attorneys really have the time they need, and feel like they have the time they need to do their job to the best of their ability. So with that, I will pause. Or actually, it might be helpful to just turn to the second page of the proposal and show you that there are a couple of changes on the second page as well that are not substantive changes, but rather changes that are really for conformity to the rest of the rule.
Great. Representative McCoy?
Oh, yes, I just want to double check and make sure, because there's no date in here. Once we approve this, it will be effective now. So this year, we're not going to follow the December one. We would follow the December 5 deadline.
So what we're doing will require a resolution to be passed. So that's what you have in front of you. We don't have that much power. I thought we might, but no. So what this means, and remember, this isn't just for next session. When this passes, this is for moving forward until the committee decides to change it again. So the current rules will hold until we have our vote on the resolution. So January 6th is our first day. So we'll introduce it on the 6th, and then, as we typically do, and then take it up for action on the following day, which would be January 7th. So to be clear for members, our current rules will hold until we pass this on the 7th. So that last deadline would be the one thing that makes this time around. And then next biennium, they'll have these full date change in place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the December 1 deadline holds, and then if it's passed when we're in the House, and the January 2nd one will hold as well.
Correct.
Okay, so it is just last one. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Do we want to just do a quick walkthrough of the resolution? Perhaps? Would that be helpful for members just to see what the looks like in the form of the resolution, these changes? Betsy, do you mind doing
Sure.
a quick
I can do a share screen.
Yeah, that would be great.
Right. Can you see this okay? Maybe not. How about now? All right,
No, okay, good.
great. So this is just your standard House resolution format. This is a draft now. If you do approve this, I would change the sponsorship to be the Committee on Rules. And this is just an amendment to your House rules for the introduction deadlines that are set forth in House Rule 40. You just see that it begins with subsection A, which is your rules for the first year of the biennium, which would not change under this draft. And so they're just shown with those 3 asterisks. So then you move on to the changes that the director just described for the second year of the biennium, which provides that during that second year, except with the prior consent of this committee, member has to follow the following deadlines for standard form bill drafts. So submitting their draft request to Ledge Council by December 5th instead of the first weekday of December. Not requesting any changes of the bill contents after January 15th. Right now, your rule is the Friday before session. And approving the bill for public release with any co-sponsors by January 31st. Right now, that's Wednesday in the second week of session. The languages are just shown here at number 2 at the bottom. That's for your charter deadline. Charter bill deadlines would not change. As we move on to page 2, subdivision 3, that is just a stylistic change. That's for your short form bills. Right now, the language is just that a member needs to submit their request for a short form bill to Ledge Council by, quote, the 15th day of February. This is just for stylistic conformity with the changes made above. So just say January 15th. It's cleaner, easier to read and understand. And then similarly, just a stylistic change. Subsection C is your committee bill deadline. So it's just breaking it up into subdivisions so that 1 is in regard to the first year of the biennium and 2 is in regard to the second year, but no changes to those committee bill deadlines. Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions, feedback? Representative Bartholomew?
Just to be clear though, because we have specific dates, if those days fall on a weekend, does that effectively mean the deadline is moved up to the previous working day? How does that work?
No, I mean, from my perspective, it means that is the day that even if it falls on a weekend, that would be the deadline. So attorneys are often working on over the weekends during these times of the session. So any drafting request that was received on December 5th, if December 5th was a Sunday, would be processed and treated as if it were arrived on a regular workday.
Okay.
For the
And
time.
then just to reemphasize what Patty was saying, I think for this year, if this resolution passes, it would be only the public release date that would be affected this year, right?
The House approved for introduction deadline? Is that what you're?
The January 31st, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Just one more thing on what John was asking then. If somebody actually emails Legislative Council on December 5th and it happens to be on a Sunday, they've met the deadline. Or December 1 or whatever currently is.
That's right. From my perspective, yes.
Okay.
And it's just a reminder, we don't, hardly ever use it, or I can't remember us using it while I've been speaker, but this committee, House Rules, does have the ability, if someone has an extenuating circumstance on a bill, to give them a pass if needed. We don't use that very often, but it's just important to know that there is a backup plan in case
Yeah.
something happens with a member. Okay.
I was just going to share, I appreciate this proposal and appreciate the thoughtfulness in it. Ledge Council is huge. And I think finding that balance of not burning folks out, but giving space to introduce legislation is key. So thank you for this. And the timing, I think, is very timely.
Thank you, Representative Dolan. All right.
Do you want a motion?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
And I'm not sure I have it. I will make a motion that we approve House Resolution 1, Draft 2.2. Do I have that right?
Draft 2.2, yes.
Great.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the roll unless there's anything else. Anyone wants to? Nope. Great. I will call the roll. Representative Bartholomew,
Yes.
Representative Dolan,
Yes.
Representative Feltus,
Yes.
Representative Houghton,
Yes.
Representative McCoy,
Yes.
Representative Toof, absent, and I am a yes, so the motion passes 6-0-1. Thank you, everyone. I really do think this is a really helpful tool for our staff and our members, and giving some more space on these deadlines. So thank you for your attention to this. Is everyone on board with having this resolution offered by the House Rules Committee?
Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you. And I know it's a ways away, but can we have someone ready to report this?
John?
John always does a great job.
Done. Representative Bartholomew, can we sign you up?
Sure, why not?
Thank
Let me know if you need anything from me. I'd be glad to help.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, just a reminder, we will send this out to members so they have plenty of time to see this beforehand. It will be introduced. We'll introduce it on January 6th, and we'll take a vote on it January 7th. If any members have any questions, they're welcome to reach out to me or to Betsy Ann or to Bryn. I'm happy to be a resource. So that concludes our agenda for today. Thanks again, and be in touch if you have any other ideas or feedback on House Rules agenda items. But with that, we are done.